time. Put your pencils down. Kaito, not a single answer again? Look at me.
The instructor's voice cut through the silent hall like a blade. Every cadet turned toward the failure in the third row.
He can't read, instructor. Just give up on him. The scouts don't need illiterates.
Laughter rippled through the room. Ryo's smirk was a familiar poison, and the other cadets joined in.
Book blind. That's what they call me. But it's not blindness. The words twist and slide. A river I can't cross.
But as the mockery reigned, Kaito's amber eyes caught a hairline crack in the ceiling plaster no one else noticed.
Why can I see that crack from across the room? Count every cobweb, but not read a single sentence.
One more failed exam, Kaito, and you are expelled. The Academy doesn't tolerate dead weight. This is your final warning.
The ultimatum fell like a sentence. Kaito's last hope crumbled. Expulsion loomed. Yet behind the panic, a certainty whispered. He saw the world differently. He just couldn't prove it. 2 days later, the Academy shipped its failures and favorites alike into the deep forest for a survival field test.
Look at this. Titan tracks. Too bad you can't read these either, book blind. Maybe you can just stare at them until they spell out your expulsion.
Kaito didn't flinch. He crouched at the footprint's rim, fingers brushing the mud as if listening.
15 meter, female type. The left foot drags slightly, old injury. It passed here an hour ago, heading northeast at a slow, limping pace.
Ha! Now you are a Titan fortune teller. Making up nonsense to sound special won't save you from the dismissal papers.
Instructor Saito, who had been tracking in silence for a decade, stepped forward. His face lost color.
That's exactly right. The depth, the stride interval. Even the dragged left foot. How, Kaito? You've never passed a tracking course.
I don't know, instructor. The mud just speaks. The weight tells the size. The cracks tell the time.
Ryo's smirk evaporated. The cadets stared as if Kaito had grown a second head. Something impossible had just happened. And in that moment, everyone knew the book-blind cadet might be anything but blind. The same evening, a summons came from Headmistress Megumi. Kaito climbed the tower stairs alone, the weight of his future pressing heavier than any Titan track.
Instructor Saito claims you identified a Titan's size, injury, and heading from a single mud print. Do not lie to me, Cadet.
It wasn't a lie, Headmistress. The mud talks to me in a way letters never have.
Then prove it. Follow me.
She led him to a training yard lined with plaster footprint casts, replicas from dozens of expeditions. Few cadets could read.
Blindfold him. No sound clues. If this is real, you will read the cast with only your fingertips.
With a cloth pressed over his eyes, Kaito traced a cast. His voice came steady.
3 Titans. The largest dragged its right heel. The second was limping from an old wound, and the smallest ran in panic.
That cast is from a classified operation. Only 3 people in the kingdom knew the details. This changes everything.
She stood in the settling dust, a decision hardening behind her gaze. The book-blind cadet would not be expelled. He would be weaponized. By the next moon, Kaito rode with a veteran scout patrol. The forest deeps were veiled in silence, the kind that hides teeth and claws.
Halt, Captain. Look at the earth here. These scuffs are not natural. Something heavy shifted weight just beyond this ridge.
The squad leader turned, his face a mask of impatience. This track reader was untested, and patrols were not training grounds.
I don't need a briefing to read what the ground already shouted. 6 Titans, compressed stance, ready to spring. We walk into a trap if we continue.
Against every instinct for caution, the leader raised a closed fist. Hooves halted. Blades whispered free of their sheaths. 10 heartbeats of silence stretched like wire. Then the tree line erupted. A 15-meter Titan lunged from the very shadow Kaito had marked. Steel flashed in the gloom. The squad fell into formation, meeting the charge with the seconds Kaito had bought. When the silence returned, marked by steaming Titan flesh, the squad leader turned to Kaito and dipped his head, a grave salute,
I just saw what was there. Anyone could if they listened.
but no one else had. The book-blind cadet had become the patrol's shield, and the ground would never hold secrets from him again. In the capital, the Royal Tracking Council convened behind stone walls heavy with secrets. A single field report lay on the table. Counselor Orin scanned the parchment, his thin mouth tightening. The words described a cadet who had contradicted an official route assessment.
A mud-reading cadet? How quaint. The scouts are so desperate they promote failures who can't even read a book.
He read further. Headmistress Megumi's endorsement. The boy was now a specialist trainee, shielded from dismissal.
Megumi always did have a soft spot for broken things. This track reader could become a problem if he learns to trust his own eyes.
Orin drummed his fingers, then beckoned an attendant. The chamber felt suddenly colder.
Find out everything about this cadet. His family, his habits, his weaknesses. Something that can be used if he becomes inconvenient.
The attendant bowed and vanished. Orin leaned back, a predator pretending to doze, miles away. Kaito sharpened his blades, unaware that his name had just been etched into a list of threats. The Royal Tracking Council did not tolerate anomalies. And Kaito was the most dangerous kind, an anomaly that could see. A few days later, Princess Yuria paused over a report during a formal inspection of the scout base.
A cadet who predicted an ambush from mud and spacing. I want to meet this track reader.
She found Kaito alone, where the training yard met the wild grass, his fingers still tracing invisible prints.
Is it true you can see weight and direction in the ground? Things no one else can.
I don't know why. Words twist for me, but the earth, it never lies.
Letters swim for me too. I have hidden it since childhood. You are the first soul who understands.
The princess wears the same chains I do, but her throne is built on the very words she cannot read.
If you ever need someone who believes you without reservation, I am here. No titles, no pretense.
Under the old oaks, two strangers bound by a shared silence became something more, but a princess's notice was a double-edged blade, and Kaito's shadow had just grown much longer. On the next patrol, the valley was marked safe by council decree. Kaito's eyes narrowed.
Captain, these tracks, fresh, deep, wide set, Titan prints, a migration heading west.
He unfolded the council's route map. The ink declared the area safe for travel.
This map says no Titans. The ground says they're right ahead. If we continue, we die.
The squad leader hesitated, then gave the signal. The patrol abandoned the official route. From a ridge, they saw a horde of Titans in the valley. The council declared clear.
That official report was either forged or grossly wrong. Which is worse?
Back at base, Kaito stared at the council report. The stamped seal felt like a lie.
This wasn't a mistake. Someone decided those lives didn't matter.
The scouts had trusted the council for decades. Now that trust was crumbling, footprint by footprint. 3 days later, on a safe route, Kaito halted the squad. Fresh tracks marred the earth.
These prints are wrong. Too clustered. Weight distribution unnatural. An attack is coming.
They waited. Blades drawn, hearts drumming. But the forest remained silent. Hours bled away. The Titan never came. The squad's tension curdled into anger.
So much for your magic eyes, track reader. Maybe you just hallucinate mud now.
The laughter that followed was louder than any battlefield cry Kaito had ever heard.
The edges are too clean. No rubble. No natural collapse. This wasn't a real print, but I can't prove it. And right now, no one would listen.
He returned to the barracks, a ghost. Scouts who once trusted him now avoided his eyes. And somewhere in the capital, Counselor Orin smiled, knowing his first move had landed. That night, Kaito returned alone to the site of his disgrace. The prince still mocked him.
The edges, too clean. No natural fractures. These weren't pressed by a Titan. They were carved.
He ran his fingers deeper. spade indentations. Someone had fabricated the tracks.
They set me up. Someone powerful wants me silenced.
Before dawn, he stood at the palace gates. Only one person would believe him.
Princess Yuria. The footprints were faked. A tool carved them. Someone is trying to destroy me.
I knew it. They are afraid of what you can see. We must dig deeper.
She led him to a hidden archive. Dusty records whispered of years of altered roots.
They moved lives like chess pieces, but now we have a board of our own.
In that dim corridor, two outliers forged an alliance against a shadow that stretched across the kingdom. In the hidden archive, Yuria spread two sets of maps across the oak table. One bore the council seal. The other was stitched from field reports and blood.
Look, every dangerous shortcut replaced by a longer, safer path, and every detour profited the same merchant guilds.
How many expeditions took those routes? How many died because they trusted this council's ink?
Her finger traced a red line to a merchant house known for shipping lumber and steel, cronies of the council.
Decades of death, bought and sold like timber. My gift threatens their entire enterprise.
We have motive and pattern. But to break them, we need irrefutable proof, a confession from Orin himself.
From her sleeve, she pulled a small, polished crystal, a recording stone, untraceable and silent.
If I can get him to admit it, even in private, the stone will hold his words forever.
It is a trap, Kaito. He will try to destroy you, but I will be watching, ready to intervene.
In that dusty archive, they set the final pieces. The track reader would walk straight into the lion's den. The heavy chamber doors closed behind Kaito. The crystal in his pocket was cold against his palm.
Ah, the mud-reading freak. Come to beg for your commission back. I do admire your desperation.
I know you planted those footprints. I know the routes were falsified for decades. Stop this or face the consequences.
Orin's smile stretched like a wound, every pretense of civility crumbling.
You think you can threaten me? A dyslexic cadet who reads dirt. No one will ever believe you. You are a problem, and problems are erased.
Hidden in his pocket, Kaito's thumb pressed the crystal. Every word branded into the stone.
Erased, perhaps, but not before the truth is heard. We'll see who is erased, Counselor.
You just signed your own death warrant, boy. Walk out that door, and you are nothing but a memory.
They stood across a chasm of silence, the crystal heavy with confession. Outside, the storm gathered. The council's retaliation came before noon. A sealed order, thick with legal venom, arrived on Megumi's desk.
Kaito, I fought them, but they have branded your last prediction as reckless. You are suspended effective immediately.
She slid the parchment across the mahogany. The wax seal bore the council's insignia, a serpent coiled around a scale.
So this is how they erase me. Not with tightened jaws, but with ink I cannot read and laws written against me.
He left without a word. The barracks hallway felt like a gauntlet of silent stairs.
Rio must be laughing. I can almost hear it. The mud reader, finally sinking into the dirt.
Outside, the courtyard was empty. He dropped onto the stone bench where he used to trace imaginary footprints.
The ground doesn't speak anymore. Maybe it never did. Maybe I just wanted to believe I wasn't useless.
A shadow fell over the gray flagstones. Yuria's voice came low and steady.
I will not let this stand. I will petition the Queen for a public tracking exam. You will prove your gift before the entire court.
3 days later, the throne room hummed with nobles and counselors, a storm of silk and ambition.
Your Majesty, this cadet can read ground that the Royal Tracking Council cannot. Let him prove his gift before the court.
The Queen's gaze lingered. Then her voice, cold as winter decree, silenced the murmurs. By royal decree, a public tracking exam will settle the matter. Let the Earth testify.
To ensure fairness, the Royal Tracking Council provides its finest tracker as examiner. Veteran Traeger, 30 years of field service.
I have read more tracks than you have steps, boy. prepare to be unmasked.
I accept. I will read what they have never seen. Let the ground decide.
The court erupted in whispers, a suspended cadet challenging the council's own expert. The queen's lips curved, barely outside the palace. Workmen were already flooding the old training field, raking earth for the course that would seal Kaito's fate.
If I fail, I lose everything. But I have already been buried. All that remains is to crawl out. Depth, spacing, weight. It's not in any book. The ground doesn't need ink to speak.
3 days before the exam, Yuria slipped into the practice yard, a stolen parchment hidden in her cloak.
They have set the course to test textbook formulae, not field instinct. It is a trap for your kind of sight.
That evening, an unsigned envelope was pressed under his door. The note inside read, "Withdrawal, final warning." He held the corner over a candle. The paper curled and blackened, the threat turning to ash.
I would rather fail on my own terms than surrender to a ghost. Let them come.
Yuria watched the ash scatter, her own fears hidden behind the princess mask.
Then we must be ready for anything. I will have eyes on every official. We will not be ambushed again.
This is not a test of knowledge. It is a test of faith in the ground and in myself.
The exam field lay silent under the stars, mud gleaming like dark glass. Tomorrow, the ground would speak for him. The sun rose over the exam field, now ringed with nobles, officials, and the queen's pennants.
Let's see your famous mud reading, boy. Try not to embarrass yourself before Her Majesty.
14-meter male. Running, dragged right toe. The next, 18-meter. Female, carrying young.
Print after print, he decoded them all. The veteran tracker's smugness withered. Then an official stopped him. A gloved hand reached into Kaito's pocket and emerged with a small brass device. The device glinted in the sun. A decoder. Banned from the exam grounds. My queen. The cadet was cheating. Silence shattered like glass. Oren's smirk was razor sharp. Yuria's face drained of color.
So the track reader needed mechanical aid, just as I suspected all along.
That is not mine. Someone planted it. The same people who carved those footprints.
The queen's gaze, cold as execution steel, swept over him. The ground had spoken, but now no one would listen. The uproar was deafening. Guards struggled to keep the court back. Then a shout cut through.
Take everything. My cloak. My gear. Give me new footprints. No devices, no helpers. Watch me.
A single raised hand from the queen silenced the riot. Her decree was cold and absolute. The blind test was granted. Officials stripped him of his cloak and harness, leaving only the uniform he first wore to read the earth. They led him to a freshly raked field, untouched by any boot. The court pressed against the barriers. The decoder was sealed in a lead box and placed before the throne. Oren's smirk had narrowed, but he did not object. The trap had simply changed shape.
Now I have only myself. No tools, no tricks. Just the ground that has never lied.
He walked to the first faint imprint, the mud cold under his bare fingers. The queen leaned forward.
They think the ground will stay silent. They don't understand that it never needed ink.
The blind test had begun, and the entire kingdom held its breath. His fingers pressed into the first track. The imprint was shallow, made by a boot, not a titan. The crowd fell deathly silent.
A man, roughly 175 centimeters, limping on his left leg, carrying a heavy sack. He passed here late last night.
An official checked his clipboard, then stammered, "That's our quartermaster." He made a supply run after dark. The veteran tracker's proud posture crumbled. He stared at the footprint as if seeing for the first time. Oren's knuckles whitened on the railing. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Half awe, half disbelief. The queen rose from her throne. Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. This court recognizes Kaito's skill. It is beyond doubt. But I will hear the full truth. An investigation begins now. Oren's face became a mask of stone, but beneath the surface, Fury roiled.
An investigation, not a verdict. The serpent is wounded, not dead.
And so, under the Queen's cold order, the Royal Tracking Council found itself under the glass for the first time in decades. 3 days later, the Queen stood before the packed court, a thick scroll in hand, her voice freezing every whisper. The investigation, aided by Princess Uria's evidence and the recorded confession, was undeniable. Forged routes, bribes, sabotage. This council is a disgrace. The Royal Tracking Council is dissolved. Effective immediately, guards moved before Orin could protest. His face twisted from stone into raw fury.
You can't do this. I built this kingdom's safety. Without my routes, the Titans will swallow you all.
His voice shredded into silence as iron shackles closed. Kaito watched from the gallery, expression unreadable. From this day, expedition routes will be set by those who read the ground, not those who profit from distance. The public square erupted. Citizens who had lost kin to the false routes wept and cheered in the same breath. Hands lifted Kaito onto broad shoulders. The book-blind cadet who read the earth was now carried by the people. Justice had been served. But inside Kaito's chest, a quiet question still pulsed. What now, before the formal honors? The Queen summoned Kaito privately. Her throne was empty. She stood by the window, light framing her silhouette. She offered him command of the reformed tracking corps, a desk, a seal, a life of influence. Kaito shook his head.
I don't want a desk. Let me go where the footprints are. The ground is my only language.
The Queen studied him, then nodded slowly. So be it. But you will not walk alone. I will send someone to bridge the gap between ink and earth. Later, on the high balcony, Yuria found him watching the sunset. The noise of the celebration drifted up like distant music.
Kaito, I never told anyone. The letters swim for me too. You gave me the courage to stop hiding.
Then, we are the same kind of reader. The world will have to learn to hear us.
He took her hand, not as a princess, but as a friend forged in silence and vindication.
You read the earth. I will read the law. Together, we might just change how this kingdom sees.
The boy who could not read a single exam had rewritten the rules of survival. But his own story was still an unfinished sentence. The next morning, a young scribe awaited Kaito at the training ground, her satchel overflowing with parchment.
I am Hana. I've been assigned to read for you, sir. Every dispatch, every order, I'll be your eyes on the page.
Then I'll tell you what the ground says, and you'll read me the words. Deal?
He extended his hand, and she shook it with a nervous grin. The partnership was sealed.
I've memorized every official dispatch format. I won't let you miss a thing.
From an upper window, Princess Yuria watched them ride through the gate.
He finally has what he needs.
And so, the track reader and his scribe rode toward the horizon, the morning sun spilling gold across the path ahead. An unlikely pair, bound by ink and earth, ready to face whatever footsteps lay ahead. Kaito's story was no longer about what he couldn't read, but about the ground that spoke louder than any book. Under a sky heavy with autumn, Kaito and Hana rode the patrol route, a rhythm forged in trust. Kaito reined in sharply, dismounting to press his hand against a trampled patch of earth.
6 Titans, 12 meters, moving in formation. They'll hit the supply wagon in 10 minutes.
I'll have the message dispatched immediately. Hold on.
Her pencil flew across the notepad, the words crisp and urgent. In minutes, the warning was away. The nearby squad read her dispatch and spurred their horses toward the choke point. They arrived just as the Titans burst through the tree line, blades flashing in a desperate dance. When the last Titan fell, the squad leader's thanks were brief but sincere.
I think you like showing off, track reader.
He looked down at the trail, footprints clear and unfoolable, and felt a quiet certainty settle into his bones. That evening, as the sun bled orange across the valley, Kaito knelt by a fresh Titan print. His fingers traced the rim slowly. no longer reading danger or direction, only remembering. Hana stood a step behind, her notebook closed. She knew some stories didn't need ink. He never learned to read words, but he read the earth, and that was enough. Two figures walked into the dying light, one who read the ground, and one who read the sky. The footprint remained behind them, a hollow in the mud that had once been a curse and became a gift. In a kingdom that measured worth by the written word, Kaito had proven that the truest stories are carved deeper, and as the first star blinked above the tree line, the track reader walked on, fade to white.